Hey folks, Tennessee Brando here with MeidasTouch. How many of y'all out there have heard the old phrase, those that don't study history are doomed to repeat it? Well, I've got a clip coming up for you here in just a second of Ron DeSantis out there trying to completely rewrite history. And it's a clip so bizarre that I had to watch it several times because I was thinking to myself, there's no way someone can be this stupid. And then I realized that, yeah, he's just as stupid. You know, my grandfather was an old World War II veteran, and he was a history buff. And he taught me history from a young age. I remember back when I was young, I was younger than 10 years old, because Reagan was still president. And my grandpa helped me memorize every president from Washington all the way to Reagan. And when I got that done and I could recite all of them, then he says to me, okay, let's learn what state they were from. And then let's learn what political party they belonged to. And as I got older, then let's learn what they did while they were in office. And my grandfather did not attempt to rewrite history. As a matter of fact, he gave it to me pretty bluntly and always said, you're never too young to hear it. He was so blunt about it that my grandmother actually said to him, you know, maybe you shouldn't tell him those things just yet. And he said, no, he needs to know it. And this was coming from a guy who actually fought the ones trying to ban the books. This is a guy who actually fought the ones trying to install a totalitarian government in place and make fascism a way of life. So that's how I grew up, learning about history and not being sheltered from it. I was taught it at a young age, and I was taught to always study it, because if you don't study it, you're doomed to repeat it. But we got Ron DeSantis out there saying batshit stuff like this. Take a look.
For example, the 1619 Project is a CRT version of history. It's supported by the New York Times. They want to teach our kids that the American Revolution was fought to protect slavery, and that's false. We know why the American Revolution was fought. They wrote pamphlets. We saw them dump tea into the Boston Harbor. We saw them meet in Philadelphia, and we have the records of why they revolted against King George III. And so it was the American Revolution that caused people to question slavery. No one had questioned it before we decided as Americans that we are endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights and that we are all created equal. Then that birthed abolition movements. So you can't teach history that's being used to pursue an ideological agenda. You can't teach that the foundations of our country were somehow evil.
Well, all I can say is that Ron DeSantis did not have a grandfather like I did, because not one word of what he just said was true. There was not 1 ounce of truth in any of that verbal diarrhea that he just spewed all over us. But yet there are people who are going to stand up and believe it as fact because he said it. No one questioned slavery until the American Revolution was fought. Does he really want to say that? I mean, we might have fought the American Revolution and gained our independence, but we sure didn't give black people theirs. And does someone else want to tell him, or do you want me to? We had to fight a civil war over that issue. We had to break apart as a nation and fight amongst ourselves in order to free black people. And I know that there are people out there who gets uncomfortable when they hear someone like me say that. And they don't want to see their ancestors painted with a bad brush here. They want their ancestors to remain, no pun intended, lily white and squeaky clean. But, folks, the truth is, history must be learned for what it was. And we have to accept things for the way they were. And we cannot let the likes of Ron DeSantis come along and rewrite history and change it to a softer version just because he wants to make himself feel better and make future generations feel better about it. My grandfather had no problem telling me all the warts, had no problem telling me all the things that we had to overcome. That's how you learn and that's how you grow. It's when you say, hey, we overcame this. Why can't Ron DeSantis say something to the nature of, yeah, we were once this way, but we overcame it? You don't hear him say that because his kind has yet to overcome any of it. As a matter of fact, they're still dwelling on it. As a matter of fact, they're still trying to figure out how to keep their side in power. And they're all for taking away our history. They want to say that we're the party of cancel culture, and yet they're trying to cancel the very foundation of this country. They don't want people learning about it because they don't want to feel uncomfortable about it. But we have to remember that this is what's going in November. These are the people that's going to be going strong. These are the people that are going to be going to the polls to vote, and that's why people like us have to keep our eye on the ball. It's one of the most important times for us to do so, because we cannot let the likes of Ron DeSantis get in and have full power, because that is the kind of America he wants, a whitewashed version of it. So guys, thank you so much for watching this. It's always a joy to do videos here on MeidasTouch, and be sure to hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and continue to support independent media. MeidasTouch is one of the fastest growing independent news networks in the country, And we're going to be here telling you the truth as long as we can. So until next time, I'm Tennessee Brando. You all stay safe.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.